Tonight on SCTV3, we see how the college celebrated National Voter Education Week.
Plus, a sit-down interview with the school's ombuds officer to discuss what they offer for students on campus.
All that and more tonight on SCTV3. I'm Kupiec.
And I'm Macgilpin. Thanks for joining us.
For young students on campus, the upcoming election is one of great significance. This past week marked National Voter Education Week, and the college held numerous events to help students get ready for Election Day. These include voter registration, how to vote with an absentee ballot, and getting to know the presidential candidates. SCTV3's Liam Riley and I took a look into what event had to offer. This fall marks a pivotal time for future generations as November 5th is the 2024 presidential election. This past week was National Voters Education Week, which helps voters understand things like registering to vote and casting a ballot. Students shared why it's important for their generation to vote in the upcoming election.
Voting is important because it's a right that not many people have, so it's important we exercise those rights, and it's also important if we want to see a change, then we need to help be a part of that change by voting.
It's important for us to have our voices be heard because we are going to be making the decisions and we are going to be electing someone that is going to be making either or are going to be making imperative decisions in even their first year of presidency.
Springfield College held multiple information sessions in the campus union, recognizing the importance of getting students involved. These info sessions included being able to register to vote and getting to know the upcoming candidates. Student volunteer Skylar Prinshorn spoke about how campus resources has helped educate students about the voting process.
I think it's really important that campuses offer these resources because a lot of students are coming up to the table. Like I heard maybe 5 times already today, I need to do this, but I don't know how. So it's important that we're offering these resources, guiding them through how to register, because many students can't find this on their own, or they're getting mixed resources, or they don't know what steps to take, but they want to.
Voter registration deadlines are October 26th, and the absentee ballot deadlines range from October 29th to November 5th.
On Thursday afternoon, students were able to participate in a fun activity called Knockerball on the Naismith Green. Students walked over to an inflatable setup on the green, where they then entered the large inflatable bubbles and adjusted their shoulder straps. After people were secured, they ran around in the arena and tried to collide with other students. This was a lighthearted event that provided students with a fun break in their day as the week draws to a close. Also, a food truck was present at the event, so people could grab a rice bowl or other dishes of their choice while taking in the knockerball action. For more information on events like this one, students can check out the Springfield College Activity Board on Instagram at SCPrideCab.
The newest art exhibit, titled The Humanity of Place, is now open in the William Blizzard Gallery. The exhibit opened on October 3rd and features only paintings done by Jeffrey Newman. He was the Springfield grad from the class of 1981, where he studied art under former art professor William Blizzard. He developed his painting style through contemporary realism and tried to focus on making his art American. The paintings in the exhibit are meant to take the viewer on a journey through the heart of America, with many places you would see on a 20th century road trip. As always, you can check out all of Newman's work on the second floor of Blake Hall from 9:30 to 4 on weekdays. It will close on October 31st.
This past Saturday at 11 a.m., Springfield College students alongside President Mary Beth Cooper took part in the school's annual color run. Students who participated completed a mile-and-a-half run around campus in white t-shirts, while student members of the campus activity board tossed brightly colored chalk and spray-painted multicolored designs on them. The race started in lot 19 next to the townhouses and circled around the campus union. The main mission of the run is simple: to bring people together and have fun. CAB holds weekly meetings in the Dodge Room at 6:30 where they pitch new ideas for the future events.
The Miracle Baseball League of Western Massachusetts returned to Archie Allen Field this past Sunday as they kicked off their fall season. Founded by Ernie Fitzel Jr. and his wife Tammy back in 2015, the league is specifically designed for kids ages 4 to 19 who have a physical or cognitive disability and aren't able to play on a traditional team. The league has 6 games in the fall and 8 games in the spring. The league has made their home in the far right corner of Archie Allen Field, making it the first collegiate stadium that was also specifically designed for Miracle League play. They usually play 3 games, with the last game designated for kids who need less assistance. Jennifer Arnold is the mother of a 9-year-old daughter with spinal muscular atrophy, and it gives her great joy knowing her daughter has a community like the one the league provides.
I'm beyond thankful. We have friends who don't live in this area or even throughout just different parts of the country, and the kids don't have an opportunity to be a part of something like this. So we're incredibly grateful that it takes 5 minutes to get here. It's just an hour of our morning, and it really sets the tone for our week.
If you would like to volunteer with the Miracle League, go to miracleleaguewestma.com/volunteer and click Volunteer Now, where you can find a Google form to fill out an application.
We now send it over to Emma Bynes in Studio B with our local and national weather update. Emma?
Thanks, Sam. It is definitely starting to feel like fall on Alden Street. It will be beautiful out this weekend as it will be 72 and sunny on Saturday. Monday and Tuesday will hover around 60 degrees with lows quickly plummeting into the 30s. No rain is in the forecast this week, but the weather will be partly cloudy throughout all of next week. Temperatures will begin to drop from the 60s to the 50s later in the week, with the low reaching 35 on Wednesday and Thursday. As we turn our attention to national weather updates, Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida over the night. It landed as a Category 3 storm and brought fierce winds upwards of 120 miles per hour and heavy rain to the west coast of the state. The storm flooded the streets and neighborhoods of the Tampa Bay area. Governor Ron DeSantis and other officials had led a massive evacuation effort in the previous days, and some residents still leaving the state reported a number of tornadoes that spawned from the hurricane. The storm has reportedly killed at least 5, but the death toll is expected to rise. Milton has officially exited Florida at Category 1 strength, but the region is expected to continue dealing with urban flooding and heavy rainfall. Back to you guys in Studio A.
The annual Peter V. Karpovich lecture was held in the Dodge Room on Wednesday night. The lecture was delivered by Brian Culp from Kennesaw State University and focused on the idea of disposability. Culp talked about the cultural ideas that are adding to bias and prejudice in our country, especially among children and young people. He then examined teaching in modern-day classrooms and how different perspectives can help the next generation do away with the ideas of bias and practice equity in their professional lives. The Karpovich Lecture celebrated its 50th anniversary last year and continues to be a staple event for the college.
After the break, we sit down with the campus OMBUDs in honor of National OMBUDs Day.
Oh, Vanessa. You gonna text her back?
Nope. I'm high. I'm gonna hit the treadmill.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Nope. I'm high. How about they come over?
Where?
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Many people can be uncomfortable with having tough conversations. In this upcoming election, bringing these challenging topics to the forefront. Thankfully, there is a resource on campus to help students and faculty with this problem, the Ombuds Office. In honor of National Ombuds Day, River Mitchell sat down with Amy Saraday of the College Ombuds Department to discuss how people can have these conversations in a healthy manner in this edition of SCTV3's weekly Q&A.
I'm Amy Saraday, and I am our college ombuds person. So the Office of the Ombuds is a confidential resource for any issues or problems that students, staff, or faculty may face on campus. So I am here to listen in an impartial way and to help folks to work through whatever may be troubling them. So my role is around conflict resolution, and a part of that is also conflict prevention, right? So I want to make sure that our students, staff, and faculty have the tools that they need in order to engage in civil discourse and healthy conversations around the election. The most important thing is to listen to understand. If we remain open to the possibility that we can learn something from someone else, that is going to be the absolute key to having healthy conversations. I would help by listening to them and helping them think through what their objectives are and how to approach a conversation in a healthy way. Another thing that we're doing is we're holding an open forum on Friday at noon in the Learning Commons for students to come and have a conversation in a safe place about what their experiences are with having difficult conversations around the election and what some of their uncertainties are.
If you want more information on the Office of Ombuds or would like to schedule a meeting with Amy, you can contact her by email at asaturday@springfieldcollege.edu.
Last night, Springfield College hosted a virtual panel featuring alumni involved in past Olympic Games. Although the Olympics were hosted thousands of miles away, Springfield College still had representation throughout the alumni that were there at these past games. Alumni connections to the 2024 Paris Olympics and Para-Athletics World Championships ranged from contributing as event staff to covering the events for media organizations. Former Springfield College student and now senior editor at NBC Sports, Gabby Gerard spoke about her time on Alden Street, on how Alden Street helped her get to where she is today.
I had never published a video in my life at Springfield, and now that's what I do mostly on a day-to-day basis. But they taught me the storytelling, they taught me the ethics, they taught me how to handle those difficult situations, and that's really the foundation that I carry.
For those interested in more alumni events, be sure to look out for information on Homecoming Weekend taking place from October 17th to October 19th.
And now we will take a look at some of this week's national stories. With Hurricane Milton complicating matters in areas of Florida, the cleanup from Hurricane Helene is still ongoing. Responders and volunteers have been collecting debris around the clock in Florida, Tennessee, and the Carolinas. Organizations like the Red Cross are receiving donations and aid, but in an effort to speed up the recovery, other states and towns are lending a hand. Here's more.
As a little over a week has gone by since Hurricane Helene rocked the U.S., the after effects of it have been grueling, but first responders and volunteers have stepped up. With the current Hurricane Milton making matters worse, unfortunately, over 220 people have died from Hurricane Helene, with 70 dead in Macomb County, North Carolina. Governor Roy Cooper said there was no update on Tuesday for the missing people, but stated he will make sure every person in North Carolina will be found. Down in South Carolina on Clemson University's campus, more than 20 different agencies responsible for disaster relief provided a one-stop opportunity for people to learn about what resources are available. There's almost no doubt everyone in this area was affected by the storm, and thousands are still looking for some help. City leaders in South Bend, Indiana, are organizing a donation relief drive to help those impacted by Hurricane Helene last week. Several South Bend police officers and firefighters are planning to travel to the south to deliver supplies to those picking up the pieces after the devastating storm. And Officer Joshua Morgan emphasized the support that the people have gotten.
South Bend community, the Michiana community, more than generous. This, from when I was here this morning, this is probably within 3 hours, has more than quadrupled. And as you've been seeing for the last 10, 15 minutes, people keep coming in. And I mean, it's awesome. I mean, we have a very giving community.
If you want to help out, visit redcross.org. Reporting from SCTV3, I'm Sam Macgilpin.
Residents in Florida are now dealing with the aftermath of 2 hurricanes in a matter of 2 weeks, as search and rescue efforts will continue in Florida and western North Carolina over the weekend.
The future of regulating ghost guns, otherwise known as unserialized guns, is now in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. These guns can be bought and sold online and come in kits that can be put together. Manufacturers and gun right activists disagree about possible changes to regulations surrounding these ghost guns. The Biden administration argues that the proposed rule doesn't ban the sale or use of gun kits. It just regulates the rule of sales to be the same as traditionally sold firearms. SCTV3's Caleb Knowles has more on the story.
New regulations on ghost guns were brought before the U.S. Supreme Court Tuesday, in a case brought by gun rights groups and manufacturers challenging the restrictions.
Some individuals, just like some individuals enjoy working on their car every weekend, some individuals want to construct their own firearms.
The ATF Bureau enforces federal laws on alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. These rules treat the weapons most often bought and put together from online kits like commercial firearms with background checks, serial numbers, and sales records. In court on Tuesday, the justices made the analogies to analyze how people are able to construct guns from these online kits.
Some eggs, some chopped up ham, some chopped up pepper and onions. Is that a Western omelet?
No, because again, those items have well-known other uses to become something other than an omelet.
Would your answer change if you ordered it from HelloFresh and you got a kit and it was like turkey chili, but all of the ingredients are in the kit?
Yes, and I think that presses on the more apt analogy here.
Overall, justices signaled they're likely to side with the Biden administration and keep the ATF rules in place.
They can quickly and easily be turned into operable weapons. The justices clearly saw that.
The Supreme Court is not expected to issue a ruling in this case until next summer.
The world's rivers are drying up, with flows falling to an all-time lows, as the United Nations Weather Agency says it's a huge red flag for the climate. Experts say rising temperatures have contributed to the water cycle becoming more erratic and has led to severe droughts around the globe. SCTV3's Dante Iafredi has more on how weather agencies are dealing with the crisis.
2023 was the most parched period for the world's rivers in more than 3 decades. The World Meteorological Organization says record heat caused prolonged droughts in some regions, leading to the driest spell in 33 years.
We had never such a large area around the world which was under such dry conditions.
The United Nations report shows large parts of northern, central, and South America suffered severe drought last year, with the Mississippi and Amazon River basin seeing record low water levels. The UN Weather Agency also says glaciers that feed rivers in many countries saw the most water loss in 5 decades, warning the ice melt threatens long-term water security for millions of people globally. Around 3.6 billion people don't have adequate access to water for at least 1 month a year, and that figure is expected to rise to 5 billion by 2050.
Water is becoming the most telling indicator of our climate's distress. And yet, as a global society, we are not taking bold action to protect this resource.
Climate experts say rising temperatures have contributed to the water cycle being more erratic through both severe droughts and intense floods. The UN is urging governments around the globe to collect and share more information about water to help protect the planet's most precious resource. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Dante Iafredi.
The United Nations Weather Agency says half of the world faced dry river flow conditions last year, and the situation is not getting any better, as summer temperatures in 2024 were the highest ever recorded.
When we come back, Caleb Knowles has you covered with the Pride Sports updates on SCTV3 Sports Extra.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot me on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
Welcome to this week's edition of SCTV3 Sports Extra. I'm Caleb Knowles, keeping you updated on all things athletics. Springfield College football had no trouble against WPI this past Saturday as they beat the Engineers 51-7 and moved to 5-0 on the season. Springfield was carried by the ground game as they tallied 525 rushing yards as a team. Blaine Hart led the Pride in rushing as he racked up 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sean Brown and Dante Vasquez both hit the 100-yard mark on the ground, and Arson Stefan added 49 yards and 2 scores for Springfield. The Proud found the end zone through the air too as Jacob Sylvester hit Noah Wagenbloss for a 53-yard touchdown. The Pride look to remain undefeated on Saturday, October 19th, when they host MIT at noon. The women's volleyball team continued their win streak when they beat Smith College 3-1. The Pride lost the first set but went on to win the next three to claim their 10th win of the season. Maeve Volz was a force for the Pride, notching 11 kills and 4.5 blocks. Smith came into the match ranked first in points and kills, but Springfield topped the Pioneers to hold them under 20 points twice. The Pride are now 10-4 on the year and currently facing Amherst in Blake Arena. Despite getting an early goal, the Springfield College women's soccer team settled for a 1-1 draw at home against Wheaton. Springfield and Wheaton came into the match ranked 5th and 6th, respectively, in the week's United Soccer Coaches Region 2 poll. First-year Mia Salmon accounted for much of the Springfield's offense, scoring her 4th goal of the season just 17 seconds into the match. Salmon now ranks 3rd in the new MAC in goals scored. The Pride held the 1-0 lead edge until late in the match when the Lions found the equalizer in the 75th minute after the ball took a few bounces in the box. The Pride will host MIT this Saturday for another new MAC showdown. Field hockey split their games this week, falling to WPI 5-2 and defeating Mount Holyoke 3-0. Down 3 goals early against WPI, Emma McLaughlin and Nicolette Morlock scored to pull the game back to 3-2, but the Pride could not seem to mount an offensive attack. The Pride looked to get right against Mount Holyoke on Tuesday night and got up early. Hailey Gaydos scored 10 minutes into the game and assisted Audrey Hayes shortly after to put the Springfield Pride up 2-0. Gaydos and Hayes connected again to put the field hockey team up 3-0. The Pride are back in action on the road against Wellesley on Saturday. The men's soccer team picked up a big non-conference win over Worcester State on Tuesday night. First-year Irving Henderson was the star of the night for the Pride as he scored 2 first-half goals and provided an assist off a throw-in in the 70th minute. The Pride held the advantage in total shots and shots on goal, as well as corners and dominating possession in the midfield. The Lancers were able to get on the board after converting a penalty in the 90th minute, but the Pride cruised to a comfortable victory. They moved to 4-6-1 on the season and look to stay in the win column as they take on MIT at home this weekend. During her time at Springfield, Hailey Gaydos has already been a key player for both the field hockey and women's lacrosse teams. SCTV3's Liam Riley and I talked to Gaydos about balancing the life of a student and a dual sport athlete.
Most athletes in high school usually play more than one sport. However, it is believed that once they get to college, they have to choose one for the next 4 years. Hailey Gaydos, a second-year student at Springfield College, is an example of how it's possible to be a dual sport athlete.
It's full of events and different things filled in each day. It's really time management based, so you have to make sure that you're running on your schedule, but try not to run behind or too far ahead maybe, which is rare, but making sure you fill your time wisely with homework and planning wise for practice is making sure that you have plenty of time to do all the things you need.
Gaydos was initially recruited to the women's lacrosse team while playing at Newington High School in Connecticut. At the end of her senior season of field hockey, Gaydos knew she wanted to continue playing beyond high school. Gaydos emailed the Springfield field hockey coach and was accepted to the team. Women's lacrosse coach Jennifer Thomas said that playing field hockey has affected Gaydos's lacrosse play in a positive way.
I think it helps her time management. I think it also translates a lot of X's and O's from field hockey to lacrosse. So it's cool because she has a different perspective. And once again, coming into 2 different teams, she really does care a lot about the overall team culture of both programs. But she's successful in both programs.
Both sports involve using a stick to move a ball around and score into the opponent's net. Despite that similarity, the preparation for field hockey and lacrosse are different.
It's like a field hockey fit and a lacrosse fit for sure, just different running. Field hockey is more bent over, so you have to run kind of half over, and lacrosse is more upright. But nutrition-wise, you eat the same, I would think, especially for like game day meals. You kind of plan out how your body works for you, but they're pretty similar, so I'd say my body doesn't really take too much of a toll.
Gaydos has been a key part for both squads. In her first year of field hockey at Springfield, she scored 31 points in 15 games. As for lacrosse, Gaydos had 8 points and caused 13 turnovers. Already through 1 year, Gaydos has had countless memories, her favorites being the ones she shared with her teams.
I would say probably for lacrosse, going to NCAAs and being able to host NCAAs here last spring was really awesome. And then there's endless moments for field hockey. I think one of them was when we were home here playing Wellesley and we went into double overtime and shootouts, which was pretty cool.
Now with a year of both field hockey and lacrosse under her belt, Gaydos knows what to expect. Gaydos shared what she's looking forward to in her second year.
I look forward to just growing as a team and seeing the outcomes that we're going to be able to produce. I think growing from where we were my freshman year to where we are even now as a sophomore, I think there will be endless opportunities for senior year, and I just can't wait to see what that holds.
Gaydos and the field hockey team start the second half of their season with 4 of their next 6 remaining matches against new MAC opponents. Taking a look at this week's athletic schedule, Springfield has 5 home and away games. For home games this week, the men's tennis team is home against Wentworth tomorrow, while the women's tennis team will host an invitational on Saturday. The soccer teams will follow that up with a back-to-back versus MIT. The men will play at 1 and 4 p.m. Home games will wrap up this week with women's soccer hosting Mount Holyoke at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. On the road, men's golf will play in the Skidmore Invitational on Saturday and Sunday, while cross-country will travel to an invitational starting at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Field hockey is at Wellesley on Saturday at 12, while women's volleyball will play a doubleheader on Saturday against Scranton and Catholic on Scranton's home court. Away games will wrap up Wednesday when the women's volleyball team travels to Mount Holyoke for a 7 p.m. matchup. Every team's schedule for the season can be found on the Athletics website. That'll do it for Sports Extra this week. Back to Sam Macgilpin in Studio A. Sam?
Break to see the latest edition.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
SCTV3's Patrick Fergus returns with another edition of Patty's Pizza Picks as he stops by Bella Milano's Pizzeria for a couple of slices.
It's Bella Milano Pizza on St. James Avenue. Let's head inside.
With a quaint and compact dining area featuring interesting seating areas and even books to read during your meal, I was excited to get my hands on a couple of slices. Unfortunately, after ordering 2 cheese slices, I waited 10+ minutes for them to come out, and when they finally arrived, the amount of cheese was staggering. Each slice was smothered with an overwhelming amount that completely left the sauce and crust an afterthought in the palate. It was a difficult chew as well, making the slices really a chore to eat. Bella Milano is a wait for less than desirable pizza, landing at 1.5 stars. Taking a look at the updated power rankings, Bella Milano now sits in last place. The pizzeria is outside the top 10 and therefore is unranked, as Red Rose has not had any serious threats to its top spot. Reporting for SCTV3, I'm Pizza Pat.
That'll do it for this week on SCTV3. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure to tune in next week for more news and sports coverage.
Same time,
same place.